Great. So, hello everyone. It's great to be here back at Metaverse One. Special thanks to Vesa, Mati, and the team for the invitation and making this possible. So, the story that we'll be presenting today, Christian and I, my fellow MVP and partner in crime, is how we can build immersive copilots using Unity and Azure AI Services. Exactly. So I'm Zaid. I'm a Microsoft MVP for M365, especially Mesh currently, and for mixed reality. So I love engaging with the tech and developer communities locally and globally, and love traveling around and bringing XR and AI in somehow a bit in a simplified and interactive way to the community. Um, Okay, so I had the exciting opportunity also this year in spring to participate at Microsoft Build 2024 in Seattle. And it was actually the first time where I had the opportunity to present this topic to a to a broader audience. So when it comes to like when we envision or think about immersive copilots, we usually saw a lot of similar stories on socials, LinkedIn, you name it, where people are putting an instance of a VR XR headset on their head, and then they are like communicating with a 3D creative 3D object, and then that is helping them to answer questions similar to Copilot or ChatGPT. So this is what we are. This is actually our case. So we built an app which is, let's say, connected to Azure OpenAI, to GPT 3.5 or GPT 4.0, for example, and like constantly helping us with different problems and challenges. And we will now walk through a bit how like about the vision and how this is like what is Azure OpenAI service, what is like the medium we are currently using. Like we are working on doing this in Microsoft Mesh. Unfortunately, we don't have today a live demo, but we have like some cool snippets from the from previous demos that the product group did. So exactly, and then yes, so. On a personal base, I'm actually a big fan of Disney, especially the movie Wall-E movie. So this inspired me to build Mini Anna on the left side. So on the right side you see Eve and Wall-E, and on the left side you see our maybe simplified version of Eve or mini Anna. Exactly. So this is basically the 3D object or the let's say the copilot in one or another, and this could be like depending on your what you like be replaced. So it could be replaced with a sphere, cube, or any object basically you would like to use. Exactly. So this is a bit of story context behind. Christian, are you there?
Not seeing Christian yet.
Not yet. Probably he's coming. Yeah. Good. So I teased a bit like at the beginning also that we are doing this approach with Microsoft Mesh, and I really love this slide, which was introduced last year at Ignite by Satya, sharing latest stats of users of Microsoft Teams. So by that time, by Ignite 2023, Teams reached a total number of active users of 320 million active users, which is really huge, really amazing for such a collaboration platform. And for those who are enthusiastic about XR and metaverse and stuff, you definitely heard of tools like Altspace, VRChat, and definitely Microsoft Mesh. And you will be hearing a lot about Microsoft Mesh during this conference today. Microsoft Mesh, basically in a nutshell, is the let's say the next level step of collaborating and communicating in the metaverse. And what is the favorite part here? It's fully integrated in Teams, actually. So imagine as soon as currently Mesh is in general availability, and the Mesh team is like step for step opening always the circles for broader users. So imagine as soon as we reach this peak again, that basically or literally potentially today every Teams user can have access to Microsoft Mesh exactly within their Teams ecosystem. With that, it makes it hopefully like in the near future one of the biggest collaboration platforms, metaverse collaboration platforms. And the approach we are demonstrating, or like the idea of immersive copilot we thought of could be also like really amazing to demonstrate within Mesh. So as of Mesh, basically common use cases are usually there are different scenarios that are being approached with Mesh. So one of my favorite ones are actually training or hosting, let's say, brainstorming and design thinking workshops. So where people across the globe, without depending on a location or being in person somewhere, you can just literally put on the VR headset or on your computer, join an immersive space in a virtual environment where you can meet together, hang out, have guided tours or demos, social gatherings, and like trainings definitely. Like you can brainstorm together with your teams and employee onboarding. So also one of my my favorite part here is social gatherings. So I used to do with Christian and also back in the with Teams Nation, really cool after parties. So in VR. So this is something we are for events where people they heard especially for virtual events, virtual conferences, when they hear the content, then afterwards come together, party and engage together with each other. And this is an amazing enabler to do such things in a collaboration platform like Mesh. Exactly. So basically, coming back to our main topic for building basically this our envisioned immersive copilot, you would use Unity 3D, Azure OpenAI, and MeshToolkit, for example. So Unity 3D is a game engine that allows developers to build 2D, 3D, AR, and VR games using C Sharp. And it's always like it's also beginner friendly. It depends also on what tools and frameworks you incorporate within Unity. Um, and there are like frameworks and tools like MeshToolkit that enables, let's say, users to be low code, no code, to have a low code, no code approach. And it's more like of a plug and play opportunity to basically, you have your environment, you built an environment, for example, previously, and then you can just upload it into the into the Mesh platform. And toolkits like Mesh also enable a lot of interactivities. So you can like interact with certain objects you have in your scenery. And last but not least, our biggest and coolest hype here in the room is AI. Specifically, we are using Azure AI Services, specifically Azure OpenAI, which would allow us to basically communicate with different LLMs, connecting them to our virtual reality experience. So what is actually Azure OpenAI Service? To me personally, or to my personal understanding, Azure OpenAI Service is basically a service that runs on Azure. Some people here of you in the room probably in the early days also started playing around with OpenAI API to interact with like ChatGPT LLMs. And Azure OpenAI is also doing a very similar job here, where all of these LLMs we are accessing from OpenAI and hosted on Azure. And when the service is in this case also hosted on Azure, you have all the amazing benefits regarding networking, security, compliance of Azure applied to these to this service specifically. By and having it specifically also on Azure, it allows you then to incorporate this service or have it intersect with different Azure services. So for example, I can just like get the Azure OpenAI service rolling. I can incorporate the speech API as well, or specifically image recognition. Let's say if in case OpenAI couldn't do vision analysis, for example, storage, you name it. So all the benefits, all the services could be of Azure could be also plugged in there. So exactly. So like one of my favorite parts when it comes to experimenting with Azure OpenAI service is basically like as usual, you start by kicking off your user group, your resource group, and then setting up the Azure OpenAI service, and then basically you get the key and the URI, the endpoint, and then you go to the Azure OpenAI AI Studio directly. You make it you basically in the deployment section you choose what AI model you would like to use, and there Microsoft has a huge variety of models that you can use for your service. So in my case, just for experimental purposes, I'm just using an old one here. Exactly. And also for like within Azure OpenAI, basically it allows you, or within the Azure OpenAI Studio, it allows you to experiment with this model that you just created in different let's say playgrounds. So you have chats, completions, and DALI. So you can try everything you would like. You can experiment. You see if the model is working properly. You can switch between models, and as soon as it basically giving you the reasonable answers and the reasonable interaction you want, you go back. You take basically all the, let's say, the technical assets, and then you bring them in way depending on your fit into into your engine. So it's a great opportunity basically to get started and try out to try out and test out the limits and the maximums what this service can do. So for your interest, in our case, for building such like for incorporating Azure OpenAI in engines like Unity, I used in this case the REST API approach. There's also an Azure AI SDK that you can use, but it was at that time a bit challenging to incorporate this directly with Unity, or because it was, let's say, missing some NuGet packages or something. So I thought, okay, let's go with a REST API approach and do requests, and then So I started first by representing the structure that we usually get from an OpenAI response, which contain different properties in this case. To us, most importantly is, let's say, the message, for example, and this message contain different properties, and we, after we deserialize, basically we represent the JSON, we bring it, we can access it here in on the right side. Then we mark it as a JSON file, basically. And in our approach, depending on which speech API we are using, we have, let's say, on the one hand, the speech API, and let's say the text to speech in this case also. And also we want to orchestrate between the both functionalities that the speech and the text to speech approach is giving us. And then always most importantly, like passing the prompt to the speech API to either to generate a text to speech component out of it, or from a dictation purpose, like, okay, you get the transcription and this is basically your prompt. And then at the end we are like just assigning the like at the beginning we assign the key, the endpoint, and then within our request completion function, we are doing the HTTP calls to the API, and then basically we get our response, which we would pass, for example, to a text-to-speech API. And then in our case, we want to choose from, let's say, from this JSON, we are getting the choice and then the message and the content of this message. And one of my favorite parts, also, you can directly assign a role to your LLM. So you can tell it, okay, I would like you to be a friendly virtual assistant. Be aware that you are in a virtual reality experience. Exactly. So by basically giving it a more deeper context, what this LLM is in, because usually it doesn't know that we are interacting with it in a virtual reality experience. Exactly. So passing it now to Christian to share more about MeshToolkit.
Thanks, Zaid. So, and don't
Christian,
wonder how I look like.
Would you like to introduce yourself briefly?
Sure. So I am Christian Glessner, the founder of HoloLux.
Oh.
And I'm now for 15 years a Microsoft MVP. I started more with SharePoint 2003, and so working together based on information technologies. I think that was always a fascinating topic, and for sure Microsoft Mesh as the next level of this. It's what I ever wished for. So, and I'm joining that meeting, by the way, with my Apple Vision Pro and enjoy a little bit here Bora Bora Beach in Hamburg. So but I'm really impressed, how good actually the face tracking of the Apple Vision Pro is. So, but now back to the topic side. Can you still share the slide? Because Zaid, you are muted, and it would be good if you share the slide, because I thought you do it.
Just a second. Yeah, I'm doing it. 1 second.
Tell you, not I impress the people with face tracking. Zaid, hurry up! I get.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what's happening. Just a second.
However, I can already tell. So the slide is showing again the SDK slide again. which I have a session later on where we go a little bit deeper in this. Zaid explained a little bit about general how to integrate Azure OpenAI in .NET-based solutions or in REST with any kind of API. And the Mesh toolkit allows us to integrate our custom solution to Mesh and in different levels. We have support for some design tools. If you're a little bit longer in that business, you will see it's quite challenging to make performant applications. And so one thing that Microsoft offers here is special shaders that works very well on devices like MetaQuest. So this is part of the toolkit in the design part. Then we have different things that we can use. For example, web slates, which is actually kind of a web browser that you can bring into experience that works then in a desktop application. It works in the MetaQuest. There's one thing is the content of the browser is not directly synchronized. So you need an application, let's say, for example, Whiteboard, which automatically use WebSocket, SignalR, whatever, to synchronize between the sessions. If you bring something like this in a web slate, everybody will see the same. Then you have interactables, means you just can put easily in behavior on an object and can say, hey, I want to manipulate it. I want to move that object. You can easily interact with the object. You have something like controllables where you can say this can later on by the moderator, by the presenter, can be controlled. So it means you can switch it on, off, or play an animation. That's really cool if you want to do immersive presentations and not just show slides. Maybe a dinosaur pops out of your presentation. You could start this, and as a developer, you could build in these controllables for the presenter later on. And then also very cool feature is the physics, Mesh physics. And it's built by Havok. It's, by the way, just I'm not sure how many also joined from German. The Havok team, the physics team, sits in Munich, and it's also quite challenging if you build shared experiences and you synchronize physics behavior. And so Microsoft does all the heavy workload for us and compress that things to make it more efficient over the network. We also had an experience Meshmas in the Winter Wonderland, and we used a lot of physics, and what you find out is if you have really 16 people in one room playing heavily with object, it brings a lot of pressure on the network. And so Mesh physics try to ease that down for us. We have from scripting, we have two different things. We have visual scripting, which is super good if you want to have more real-time things or animations or animating a button and UI things. But we want also for sure maybe bring digital twin data into it or some other data. And then we can leverage cloud scripting, which is technically an Azure web service, which use WebSocket connections to your Mesh environment. And then, you can manipulate also objects from that cloud scripting, which offers everything what AI has to offer. And actually what Zaid has shown with the Azure OpenAI SDK, that works perfectly in cloud scripting. Then you can use this. But one thing that we face, what we are still facing here, there are some limitations about how you can interact with the AI, because currently you only have kind of input prompt box where people can enter text. What is still missing is, for example, speech to text, so that it's more natural to interact in Mesh with an AI. And on the other side, you also can output text out of the box, but there is a workaround, and I think I will soon write a blog post about it. You can leverage, for example, web slates to have then a text-to-speech against.
Exactly. So also like Christian, I previously referred also that you can incorporate within the approach I presented text-to-speech and speech or dictation. So this is like what I presented is more the like generalized approach, but exactly what is Christian currently mentioning is the concrete approach for approaching this in Mesh.
Yeah, so the product team for sure is aware of that feedback. So let's wait a little bit. And yeah, then we have some tools for optimization, an emulator to easily play with our solution directly in Unity without uploading. We have a visual profiler to track the performance, and yeah, in general, performance analyzer in Unity, which already tells some issues. So, but we don't want to go too deep now into the SDK because we will do that in the later session. And then if you build all that magic, you upload it to the Mesh Cloud and partially to Azure.
Yeah.
And
Christian, I think one of the favorite topics here within Mesh Uploader is that you are not uploading a VR app in this sense, but we are really uploading an environment to the Mesh platform, and then you can like really choose the different platforms you want to build your environment to, and like instantly you build it for Android or PC directly without like thinking, okay, I need to build now for PC and then to Android and then taking ages basically. So here also like when it comes to the uploader, you just sign up with your M365 account and then it's automatically syncing all the content into the Mesh platform. Yeah. So we also brought some some nice video demo to share with you. So let's have a look on it. So this is one of the cool demos how the Microsoft product group envisioned this. Also kudos to Rebecca and Mega that will be probably meeting later in the evening today. So here basically you can also like ask directly OpenAI some questions and directly then answering you about these. Great. So yeah, this is like the concrete demo of Azure OpenAI in Mesh. And to wrap things up, I really love this. We really love this. Mesh. Let's say the announcement that was made at Ignite, I think last year, bringing all these stories together that we shared during our talk into this amazing video. And that's a wrap. Basically, this basically conclude all the amazing topics we shared previously. How is AI envisioned in Mesh? And Christian, there's one final story we would like to share with the community here. So last year, Christian kicked off a new new community called I Love Mesh. Would you like to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. So I'm happy to, let's maybe found the first Mesh community. And yeah, I would be happy if you join this. There's a lot of the product group members in, and I share there all the new information about the SDK and demos. And soon I think I will also publish a demo how to use already text to speech with that kind of avatars. Yeah, I'm happy to see you there.
Yeah, and see you cruising in Dubai sometime.
Yeah, and sometime in Dubai, but next in Thailand. So somebody is there.
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah, so that's it from our side. Thank you very much for tuning in. By the way, like as you saw, I'm also additionally to my engagement in M365 and Mesh, I started rolling into the AI space, the AI platform track. So I have here also in Berlin the Global AI Berlin chapter, where we bring together developers and tech enthusiasts and people interested in AI together to learn and grow in the AI space. And everyone can actually kick off or kickstart their global AI chapter in their own city. So in case you don't have a global AI chapter in your city, ping me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to get you connected with needed to do the needed steps. And yeah, connect with us on socials, on LinkedIn. And yeah, thank you very much, Vesa and the team for having us. It has been a pleasure to be here.